While becoming a movie star is the goal of many aspiring actors, many who achieve this goal come to regret their fame when they are typecast. For many talented performers, being typecast in a certain role is a frustrating and unfulfilling career trap. However, several actors have gone to great efforts to escape the pigeonholes they found themselves in, even if it meant alienating their core fan base. These performers put it all on the line to have the diverse careers they now boast of, from comedic legends expanding their range to goody two-shoes revealing their dark side. Here are some actors who escaped being typecast. Let's start with Jonah Hill, acting in several of Judd Apatow's comedies throughout the 2000s, including the lead role in 2007's Superbad, helped Jonah Hill gain recognition and a following. Hill, who had been playing the foul-mouthed sidekick in a series of comedies throughout the early 2010s, finally managed to shake that image with his performance in the sports biopic Moneyball. He was nominated for an Oscar for the first time for his role as Peter Brand, and then again for The Wolf of Wall Street. It was a gamble that could have backfired, but Hill's strong performances paid off, allowing him to develop into a multifaceted actor and eventually leading to his directing debut with Mid-90s in 2018. Bryan Cranston is another actor who successfully broke the typecast chain. Cranston, who had small recurring appearances in a number of 90s comedies before he made his major mark as the father in Malcolm in the Middle, was defined by his perfect comedic instincts, which so frequently stole the show. The first season of the crime thriller Breaking Bad on AMC, in which he starred, was a massive success in 2008. His portrayal of Walter White's rapid moral deterioration threatened to ruin the endearing goofball image on which his career was built. But the gamble paid off handsomely, as Cranston went on to win 4 Primetime Emmys for his performance in the series and launch an impressive film and television career. Matthew McConaughey isn't left out of the game, as he too successfully broke out of the typecast prison. In the 2000s, McConaughey found a comfortable place as a leading man in romantic comedies, building on the reputation he had established in the 1990s with prominent roles in some of the decade's best dramas. This typecasting provided McConaughey with a steady salary. However, he returned to more serious roles in the early 2010s. Although the change did not immediately boost McConaughey's bank account, it did help him re-establish his acting credibility and ultimately lead to his Academy Award-winning performance in Dallas Buyers Club. In 2014, he starred in True Detective and Interstellar, further establishing himself as one of the most talented performers of his time. Daniel Radcliffe is another actor who nearly found himself in the typecast pit too. A decade spent as the lead child actor in a blockbuster film series has both advantages and disadvantages, Daniel later discovered. Soon after the final Harry Potter picture was released, Radcliffe shattered expectations by acting in a series of horror flicks and dark dramas throughout the early 2010s. Many people first began to see him as distinct from Harry Potter in his starring role as an undercover FBI agent in Imperium, and in recent years, he's made a sharp turn in his career towards more outlandish roles. Weird, the Al Yankovic story has all the makings to become a cult classic, following in the footsteps of Guns Akimbo, which attracted attention, and his villainous turn in The Lost City. Now, as Edward Cullen in the Twilight films, Robert Pattinson quickly became one of cinema's most divisive figures. Pattinson, who was already starring in several other romantic films, was worried that his career would be doomed to playing romantic leads and would always be overshadowed by the Twilight series. However, his performance in the Australian neo-western The Rover marked a significant departure from his previous work as an actor and set him on a course toward indie films, which he actively pursued in the years that followed. As the decade progressed, he was recognized for his work in films like Good Time and The Lighthouse, and then again for Tenet, and of course the superhero smash hit The Batman. Moving on to Steve Carell, who became a household name in the 2000s thanks to his funny roles in films and television shows. He cemented his place as one of the most popular and adaptable comedians in Hollywood history. His roles in The Office and The 40-Year-Old Virgin are still universally praised. While Carell's comedy career is still going strong, the 2014 sports crime biopic Foxcatcher marked a bold new direction for the actor. Carell turned in a performance that was uncharacteristic given his comedic talents, but nonetheless garnered him an Oscar nomination. Since then, he has consistently delivered stellar dramatic performances in films like The Big Short and Beautiful Boy. Anne Hathaway too can't help but be thankful for breaking free of the typecast before making a dramatic dramatic shift to more adult films later in the decade. Hathaway spent much of her early career playing the role of a Disney princess in films like The Princess Diaries and other family comedies of the early 2000s. In spite of the fact that Havoc was her first step into darker roles, it was her work in Brokeback Mountain that made her a household name. Since then, Hathaway has established herself as one of Hollywood's most adaptable actors, regularly popping up in both critically acclaimed comedies and dramatic performances, as well as in blockbuster action films. She has received 2 Oscar nominations and won one for her supporting performance in the musical drama Les Miserables in 2012. But we can't talk about typecast escapees without mentioning Elijah Wood, can we? Wood began his acting career during the 1990s, starring in a wide variety of films spanning genres, until finding his footing as Frodo Baggins in the fantasy epic The Lord of the Rings trilogy. He narrowly avoided being typecast by instantly veering away from heroic acting, which was a bold career move that gave him the opportunity to portray a wide variety of compelling roles. By taking this path, Wood was able to quickly build a name for himself with his roles in films like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, Sin City, and Green Street Hooligans. After The Lord of the Rings, he went on to have a renowned film career, appearing in everything from offbeat comedies to terrifying horror films. Tom Hanks's breakaway from a typecast is also worth discussing. His performances in romantic comedies during the 1980s and early 1990s cemented his reputation as a likable leading man, beginning with his performance in the breakout picture Splash in 1984. His career path appeared to be set after starring in successful films like Big, Turner and Hooch, and Sleepless in Seattle, but that abruptly shifted. As a dramatic actor, Tom Hanks won his first Oscar for his performance in the 1993 film Philadelphia. He went on to win his second Oscar for Forrest Gump just a year later, and ever since then, he has been hailed as one of the best and most approachable performers in the business. The same can be said of Charlize Theron when she decided to make the switch from modeling to acting in the mid-1990s. She encountered some difficulty finding employment, but quickly began landing roles thanks to her striking good looks. She was motivated to continue taking similar roles after her brief appearance in 2 Days in the Valley earned her critical acclaim. Her career took off after her performance in The Devil's Advocate in 1997, but she didn't truly take the reins until she starred in the biographical crime drama Monster in 2003. Aside from earning Theron an Oscar, her challenging performance also propelled her into a series of prominent parts that helped shape her into the formidable action star she is today. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.